Hello, I'm Someone the News of Fangirl, and I've been waiting over an hour to try and record this video just whilst the house has started to quiet down, which has taken longer than usual and it's been more frustrating because this is an anime which I love, so I've been even more eager to watch it than with most things I'm recording. So today I'm going to be reacting to Fugou Keiji Balance Unlimited. As a heads up, I am a Fujoshi and I do ship Daisuke and Haru, but completely fine with them not being a couple, just letting you know that if fangirling does occur, that is the reason. That I'm not gonna tone it down at all. You'll see how I react just as if I was just alone. So, So I have really enjoyed this series so far. I am a sucker for crime series, especially things with mystery in them as well. So cop shows, also love them. And I've really enjoyed the dynamic between Daisuke and Haru. First episode was so much fun, and it's just continued to be more and more fun and slightly more interesting than I'd expected. I thought, first episode they always try and show off, but I had my hopes set quite high because the trailer looked interesting and everything, but I was ready for the kind of slow decline maybe or something. But no, I've been really pleasantly surprised. I love pretty much all the characters we've seen so far. I thought that Daisuke would be, as a typical rich boy, he'd be kind of maybe a bit arrogant or unwilling to try things or do things a certain way, especially after we're introduced to introduced to Husk and everything. I thought he'd be quite stubborn and set into doing things the way he wants to, like the easier way, which can be done with money, with an infinite balance. So, but I've been really pleasantly surprised, and I knew that I'd loved his character I'd loved him to begin with, but really loved his actual character when he actually had instant ramen or instant noodles for the first time, and he said they're tasty. He didn't judge them for the fact that they are a convenient food and they're cheap and easy to do. He just liked them, and then ever since then we've seen other small instances of things like that. At the start of, I think this is episode 2, start of that episode, he also accepted just a gummy sweet from a co-worker and just was happily chewing that as well. And when we finally got to hear his grandma, who I also love, when he was being a bit embarrassed by her and having to be polite to Haru on purpose, and then being so petty about speeding away in the car just to get back at him without saying anything verbally. I quite like, he does kind of bottle in his feelings, he doesn't really speak about them, but he lets people know how he's feeling. He's not hiding them, but he just doesn't do it verbally. He acts out in other ways, which is quite enjoyable to watch. Haru is just a good boy. I think I expected him to be a little bit more bitter or jaded, because of the fact that we learned that he used to be in the first division and now we know why he's no longer in the first division. I thought he might be a bit more jaded at the start of the series, but no, he's just a good boy who's always trying to do the best things. Even in the last episode we see him actually trying to find the oldest milk in the shop so that it's not wasted, and the rest of the milk has more of a chance of being picked up and therefore less food wasted, things like that, which people don't think about, or they think how Daisuke thought Harry was thinking, and they just want to get it so that it lasts the longest. But he's been very practical. He's like, nah, it doesn't matter to me. I drink it in a couple of days, so I might as well get the older one. There's no difference. Love that. And he's always trying. He tries his best to save people. So I really love the dynamic of the at the start slightly reluctant to work together, but we'll do it. But then in episode 3 we were shown how Daisuke was quite happily actually listen to Haru and actually consider what he wants to do, because he is superior to him in the job. He's had more experience and he obviously values Haru's opinion quite a deal, especially when he risked his life just because Haru said he didn't think that the character who is played by Aimu would kill someone. like he trusted Haru's instincts on that, despite the fact that the First Division wouldn't even listen to him about that, or at least Hoshino wouldn't listen to him. Hoshino is an interesting character as well. I was trying to, for quite a while, try and work out, or still kind of am, trying to work out how exactly he sees Haru and what is this tension between them. In my personal opinion, I might be wrong, it's just how I'm seeing it, but from how kind of happy he seemed to be actually working with Haru when they were running across the rooftop, it seemed like he kind of admired him, but also just enjoyed at least working with him, even if he thought maybe he was a bit foolish and stuff. And I think, because it seemed, I might have got this wrong, but it seemed that Haru kind of chose to lead the First Division, but kind of was also forced out, but that was by the fact that he couldn't hold a gun and shoot anymore. So it's hard to tell. I think he did have to go because he couldn't do that, but it was very much a mental thing, and the fact that he was blaming himself so much, which I'm trying to work out whether Hoshino believed it was his fault, but I don't know. I think he does believe it's his fault to an extent, but I think he's more frustrated that Haru was so affected by it that he could no longer work in the First Division, and so he lost someone who I think he actually admired. So he's slightly upset about that, and it's more upset and it's coming out as frustration, and now he's just acting really distant and stuff, like a proper tsundere. So there we go. Really love Fugou, who actually had some humour last episode, loved that. Suzue is also great, loved her character last episode. And Hattori, the butler, I like him so far. He seems just like a nice guy. But oh my gosh, last episode was fantastic. I was so excited because when I started the series, I was like, okay, so what kind of episode tropes or storyline tropes do I expect from the series? And one of them was, what happens when Daisuke doesn't have his money, because he is so reliant on it. So as soon as he reached for his earring and it wasn't there, so he didn't have Hughes, and even better, he didn't have his phone, so he couldn't access any of his accounts through his phone or anything. I was just so excited just by the idea that we'd get to see him acting without money. So that was great. And then it just got even better because he couldn't afford to buy his own food. And oh, yes, when Haru actually found out the fact that Daisuke didn't have money, it was just great how there was no teasing, no kind of snarky remarks or anything, which would fit their dynamic, because that's just how they are. They tease and stuff a little bit. But there was no judgment, no teasing, no nothing. Harry just went, right, here's some money for a train back. Just take it. And then when Daisuke, without explaining, said that he couldn't go home, Harry was like, fine, let's get dinner. Let's get some food and I can make dinner. And it was just way more domestic and comfortable of a dynamic between them than I was expecting so early on. It was lovely. It was really good. So I was fangirling a lot last episode. And then he actually went back to Harry's house or his apartment, and just the little remarks and just the little interactions showing how kind of ignorant Daisuke is to how everyone else lives. It was just really cute and funny, because he doesn't mean most of the stuff he says when he insults things. He just doesn't know how other people actually live. He's just ignorant to it. And like when he was given the potato and he just stares at it for a solid 5 seconds before actually going to do it. But the fact, that's another thing, he just completely accepts tasks like that. He's probably never cooked before, and yet he's told to cut up these potatoes and he just does it. He doesn't whine about it. He doesn't say, I don't know how. He doesn't even say, I don't know how. He's a bit proud because like he wouldn't admit that he doesn't have Fugou with him or anything like that. He just said, "Oh, I can't do it. I'm not doing it." But he still went through with it, and things like licking his finger after it got cut, even though he could have insisted, like, actually I'd rather have like a plaster for it. Just very cute. And then we had him in Haru's hoodie and joggers, and his hair was down, and along with like half the fandom, my immediate thought was, oh look, it's another Kageyama. This is a rich Kageyama. And oh my gosh, he was so soft, and just the rest of the evening was so soft, and the meals were my favourite thing. I did love them drinking as well, and like drunk Haru was very cute, but the meals what really got me, because Haru was so desperate, well, not desperate, but really wanting to impress, or at least make him happy, like make Daisuke happy with his food. And he is fully aware that Daisuke would have like a good palate, like he'll be used to the best food and everything because he can afford it. So they had the stew, he thought it was tasty, and then Haru had obviously gone out of his way to find really nice cured ham for him, thinking this is fancier food, it's expensive food. And of course, Daisuke spat it out because he only accepts one type of ham, probably in the world, to eat. So, yep. And then because of Haru's then like hurt pride of I've spent this money and it wasn't the right thing, it wasn't good enough, he went and made him, was it tuna, bean sprouts, wasabi mixture, I can't remember what he called it. I made him that, and Daisuke loved it, and I just loved his little cheer. Like, he was just so happy that he'd done it. He'd made a dish that even Daisuke approved of. He thought it was that tasty. So I loved that, and the fact he actually got to get Daisuke to eat natto, which seemed to be the main reason he'd left. Or I think it was either just the natto or a culmination of all the things that they mentioned had happened in the morning, which were different from the usual, which might set him off. But I love the fact that he managed to come up with a recipe, or not come up with a recipe, but his family recipe was good enough that actually Daisuke liked it enough to recreate it at his own home. And I love like Hattori taking a picture, because I'm guessing it's like the first dish that Daisuke's ever made for anyone. So just like a little proud kind of like, let's take a picture of this. Or just something to remember it so that he knows to do it in the future for him. I don't know, but either way, good stuff. So yes, just all good things last episode, and I was like, okay, we've been given, us Fujoshis, us fangirls have been given all the food last episode, so I was ready to just go back to normal. But in the meantime, whilst I was waiting for the house to be quiet, I was just mentioning how frustrated I was to my friends, and Diana from Diana Z, who's just finished reacting to the episode, I happened to mention that she was really happy because of it, and I was like, damn it, because it's made me even more desperate to watch. So I was just about to get into it, but there's one more thing I kind of want to talk about, which is a little bit, tiny bit of theory. As with most anime, which I think this one's going to be 11 episodes, might be wrong, this kind of length, the proper plot comes into play in the last 2 or 3 episodes. My theory for what it might be, which has been hinted at several times in the series, is the reason why Daisuke joined the Modern Crimes division. And I have several smaller theories about it, but I feel like it must be related to his family somehow. Well, not must be, but pretty sure it's probably related to his family somehow, just because of how highlighted that was at the beginning. I think that's like the first lines we heard of the entire anime, was him talking about how he had a mother, how he had a father, and he thinks he had a good childhood, but after one day, all of that changed. So at some point, we're going to find out what happened on that one day, probably what happened to his parents, therefore, and maybe he's only just learnt more of the truth recently, because maybe he was very young when it happened, so he only learnt more of the truth recently, and went and trained in England, came back to Japan to actually solve whatever happened. And I feel like it could be tied into that the modern crimes division, that because when in the first episode Harry's carrying a load of files, and one of them was the Unsolved Crimes 1998, and if we say if the anime is set in about 2020 and Daisuke is in his mid-20s or something, he's younger than Harry, who's 30 or turning 30, something like that, then I'd say mid to late 30s is my guess for Daisuke's age, in which case then he'd have been quite young in 1998, and I think that would fit in with what happened whenever that day was. It happened in 1998 and probably included like his parents. So I feel like that's going to be what the last 3 episodes, maybe 2 episodes, are going to be about, actually focusing on it. We've had like little teasers and kind of got our hopes up a couple of times that maybe we'd actually learn more about it, even like a little bit. But it was only teasers, they never actually got through to anything else. But yes, so I'm really excited and can't wait anymore. So I think we're just going to get to it. Ginsu is expensive, so that's quite the offer. So I'm guessing Daisuke wants to be involved in this, or he just will be. Or maybe, I can't remember his name, I know we've just seen it, but maybe he had involvement in the crime, because if he's almost at retirement age, he's probably been in that division for long enough that he would have been maybe an active member of the people in charge of the 1998 case. Maybe. Oh, this OP is so good. I do love the sofa part of the OP where they show Daisuke with different people and kind of how close he is or how he interacts with different people depending on how close he is to them, etc. Like that. Yeah. Oh. Has she actually, or is he investigating something else? Or is he just turned up anyway? He's just turned up anyway. Or was that the car? I was almost going to say, was that the armoured car that Suzue was working on? There he is. Yay. Liking the suit. Yes. Ah, so it was the armoured car. So if anything goes wrong here, this is going to be quite a big disgrace to the Kanbei group. I don't trust this guy. I don't trust this. I'm highly suspicious of most things. It was delivered straight to here. Yeah, no. It says that person disguised himself in the security. Ah, okay. I was interested in that as well, because he's acting... Well, not acting, he's in the police force, and like Haru thought, like, normally that wouldn't be what someone who's going to inherit a big group's going to do, unless it was just like as a small hobby. But no, then he's probably pretty serious about the whole thing. Oh, what's the pendant? Is it a key to something? I don't trust the guy who just ran in, though. Yeah, no, they're taking them somewhere else. Oh, one other thing I suspect from the series is a time when Daisuke will be kidnapped. maybe with Haru as well, but at least Daisuke will be kidnapped. Oh, Shusuke's entering the system. I feel like since the Modern Crimes Division is security, they should be told whether or not they should probably get vests as well because they are security. Ah, it was a key. So, yeah, so the cleaning guy has it as well. The cleaning guy has... Yeah, now it's properly locked. Yeah, from the guy who told you to run away. Or not run away, hide away. And now who has now locked you in this room with supposedly the only key, except from the janitor has one as well. Always have a spare key. Oh my goodness. He's not strong enough. Yeah, Chase, that's the guy. Get in. No, Haru's the only one who's going to be in proper shape to keep up with him. Oh my gosh. No, they can't talk to him outside. So they are going to need Haru and his team. Oh yeah, Suzue, good. So she can help. Yeah, he's going to lose Kame. There's no way Kame's going to keep up. I'm not making a joke about him being in the closet. Great. We are fond of bombs. He's obviously still kept up his proper training from First Division to be able to keep up with him. Kill himself. Oh, or destroy the key. But it's fine. Damn it. Please. Oh, poor Haru. Haru did not need this. Yes, yes. Haru's so just on it, I love it. They've tampered with it so that you can't do it without knowing. 4? Oh no, just 1. Cool. As long as nothing happens. As long as nothing happens. Good on her for invading that cat, because that was out of nowhere. Yeah. Yes, does she realise? Come on. Say that the janitor's got one. Oh, now that is a big problem. Yeah, that's going to annoy him. So is it his grandma who's forbidden him from finding out this information, or someone else? I'm guessing it was to be his grandma because she seems to be the only one above him. Oh my gosh, this is not helping. I mean, it is helping, but it's not helping me. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes. That was so brilliant. His little heroic moment completely ruined because they just need to get out. Oh my god, yes. Good on her for just immediately putting it together and not spending 5 minutes thinking about it. Oh, he recognises it? He recognises it, I think. Mizuo, okay. So, are they at least behind the tech of the crime that he's interested in? Oh, I'm so excited. Ah, yes, he has something to do with it. What a good episode. I'm gonna have to listen to the ending, so after that's done, I will talk about my thoughts. This part of the ending makes me excited because I do hope at some point they'll actually get handcuffed to each other, but it probably won't happen. It's just like a metaphor, kind of they're stuck with each other kind of thing. But that would be great if we could have that as well. Right, so really love that episode. There's so much went on. Right, so again, more clues, I think, as to Daisuke's actual intentions for joining the police force. Especially, I'm going to have to look up his name at some point because it's really annoying me now. The older person who's going to retire at some point soon in the group, who was super good at interrogation. He, I feel like, was involved with maybe investigating the crime but never being able to solve it. And obviously it's still going on in the back of his mind because I'm pretty sure that he recognises that tech possibly from whatever crime happened in 1998. This is all, again, I'm saying 1998, it might not have been, but with how prominent it was in the scene where Harry put it on the desk, I'm pretty sure it will be. So he, I think, was part of the police who were in charge of the case. So maybe at some point Daisuke, well, I don't know if he has already started tracking him and that's why he has that footage, because he's actually tracking the policeman, not the device. And so I don't know if he's going to bug him or something, or just generally try and hang around him more. Because he hasn't done so far, I don't think he's going to confront him until later on, maybe. Until he's certain that there's something he can get out of him. At the start of the episode, and then towards the end, he just kept giving him looks, like very significant looks, so he probably recognises him, or just recognises the fact that he'd have been there at the time of the case happening. I'm not sure which. We got another great outfit for Daisuke, who looked very suave in his new suit. And it was good to see, like, actually the armoured car that we saw before showed up. So that came into effect in this episode. And so obviously that they'd been working on it was even more obvious that this was an important meeting for them, because they'd been working on that for a while and because they were in charge of all the security. If anything had happened, I mean, something did happen, but if anything more had happened, it'd have been a huge mark against the Kanbei family. So thank goodness nothing did happen beyond that. Interesting about the fact that Hugh said there were files that Daisuke couldn't get access to, that he was not allowed access to. I'm wondering, so I think I said, I wonder if it's his grandma who said he can't, and I wonder if she said he can't because she's aware that he's still he not investigating, but he still wants to know about this case, that, or he might look into this case, but he's not. She's trying to stop him from doing that, trying to protect him from doing that. Or if there's someone else in the group who is also quite high up who's doing it. I'm not sure which. I really enjoyed the chase with Haru. The fact that he obviously has been keeping up his training and keeping up his fitness since leaving First Division, which I don't know if we were given a time frame for when that happened. I don't know if it was in like last year or a couple of years ago or something. I'm not sure. We probably were given it maybe in episode 3, maybe in episode 1. I'm not sure. But if it was somewhat recently, he still would have had to keep up the training to be able to pursue the terrorists as well as he did. I like that they do show that, the fact that Kamei couldn't keep up. I really loved Haru's very dramatic opening of the door and him saying, "I'm here to save you," like probably a line he's been fantasizing about saying, like actually getting to say for quite a while, because like as we saw in the last one, he loves watching like cop films or dramas where like there's a proper hero, and he said it's hard to be a hero in real life. There's always harder situations, you can't control anything. In this episode, another person died in front of him, which makes me feel for him even more, because like he recognised it wasn't his fault, but he probably thinks if I had done this, maybe I could have stopped it. Yeah, I really love just Haru wanting to have that I'm actually a hero a moment, actually opening the door so that Daisuke didn't have to set off the nerve gas, and try and contain it kind of thing. But then the immediate kind of ruining of that moment when Daisuke just pushes it out of the way, just like, nope, no time for this, we gotta get out, like, we can't do this dramatic moment or anything, we just gotta get out, close the door, and done. So love that. Suzue, again, was great for just immediately noticing that things were going wrong and heading out immediately to the scene, and if not for the cat, would have got there in time. But props to her for even not having a proper crash. Well, she obviously wrecked her bike, still limped all the way to the building. So yes, she's still great. So yes, I am very happy with this episode. There was, like, I mean, a little bit of a fangirling thing just for the Haru saving him and being very proud of it moment. But otherwise, it was just a really interesting one with, like, a good crime going on and the tension of another bomb, this time a nerve gas bomb. And we have that timer in the back of our heads, but we also have a chase going on at the same time. And again, Daisuke was feeling a loss of control, a loss of information mainly this time due to a radio jamming device. So I'm thinking at this point he's probably realising that he can't, I mean, he's probably known about it, but he's probably properly realising he can't just rely fully on Hyusuke, because there are times when Hyusuke can't help even when he has him. But yeah, just very solid episode as usual, which just, if the anime just keeps up with this level, it's going to be one of my top anime from this year, probably. I mean, there are some more I'm very looking forward to this year, but this is definitely going to be in the top, maybe top 5 or something. So yeah, this is just going so well. They've done this very well. Other small things I really liked, the girl colleague who was just being very cute, like, she's been cute throughout the series, but also again being cute and actually helping with the case this time, like her personable personality, because the fact that she had chatted with the janitor and had actually been able to see the spare key, because we had that key and we saw it from quite early on, I had no worry about the door actually being opened, because at some point they were going to find out or realise that was the key to the room. But it was really good that it was her that actually noticed that it was this, the description of a star-shaped, weird-looking thing, and she went, oh, was it like this, kind of thing. Just brilliant. I like that. Otherwise, yes, so really enjoyed this episode. I don't know how I'm going to cut it down, because I probably spoke a lot during most of the episode. But yeah, I'm very excited for next week's episode. Until the next time, see ya!